Welcome back to another review of me, Kevin, from Kevin Grant on Whisky. This week, something a little bit different. Gone for a blend. This whisky here was gifted to me for Easter by my partner. She got me this Adelphi bottling of a blended Scotch whisky. I actually got to try this in a blind tasting, not a blind tasting, in an Adelphi / Ardnamurchan tasting last week or so, and it was one of the first drams that came out just to get the palate going, and I found it very interesting. I really enjoyed it, so I think she maybe picked it up when she was listening in, and she got me one, so I'm really pleased that I was able to get one. What I thought I would do though, as you just seen, I've opened it, I kind of went for a wee wander, threw some darts there for 10 minutes and just let this kind of open up just to see if there's going to be any changes instead of going straight for it. So this is the Adelphi blended Scotch malt. It's from its private stock, from the loyal old mature private stock. It says this works on a Solera system, so all this whisky is put into one big container. It's a mix of grain whisky and malt whisky, and whatever comes out, they put back in. So it's just a continuous fill. You know, it will never get emptied and they refill it. It'll always stay full, and they try to keep it as similar as possible so you can keep tabs on it. I do believe there's colouring in there. It's chill filtered, it's 40% ABV. It's still a nice colour. I can totally appreciate when it's something at 40% in a Solera system, it's going to be very difficult to try and keep it throughout the range every time you're pulling this out year after year to keep it the same colour. So adding a wee bit of E150 colouring, I suspect, has done this. The thing about it is, I don't know too much about it. I know it's grain, I know there's malt in it, and what I've been able to find out and listen in for the week, it's from everywhere. It's Speyside, Campbelltown, Islay, so it's got a bit of everything. So expecting a lot on the nose, on the palate and things. But let's get into it first of all. So colour wise, hopefully you can see that. It's dark, not age statement, 40% ABV. As we say, there's probably colour added to this. On the nose, I would say there's that saltiness, peat, sweet. I'd say a slight Campbelltown note to it, but a bit stronger on the peat side. But fruity as well. We'll try this on the palate. Stand you folks. Again, it's quite quick in the way down. That's going to be for 40% ABV. Just gives it that slight watery note to it. Slight nutty note as well, which gives it that kind of Bunnahabhain note to it. But I think you can tell that it's not 100% malt. If you know your malt whisky from your grains, you can kind of see. I would suspect there's more grain in this than there is malt. I think it'll be a higher yield of grain whisky. But again, we just don't know exactly what it is. Would I add water to this? No, I wouldn't. There's no burn, there's no anything to open it up. Salty, peaty, a lot of fruit notes going on. And a kind of little nut note at the end, which just gives me that reminiscence of Bunnahabhain. Because Adelphi, we look at Adelphi and we think it's premium casks, everything's cask strength, natural colour, however many bottles they get out, there's however many they get from their cask, and it gets bottled. That is it. So this is something completely different. It's really good. I did get pulled up in the tasting when there was maybe 40 other people. Excuse me, I did make a passing comment of, I think if this was put in a blind tasting, it could really throw a lot of people off and think it is maybe a Campbelltown-esque whisky, and then it's a blend. You know, I think it would throw people. And I thought this is just really interesting. I found it quite intriguing, found it quite different on the palate. Price point as well, you can pick this up for £20. I think your max you would pay for that is £25. So £20 for something really different and enjoyable. It's good whisky to start your night, a palate cleanser as I like to call these. It's quite exciting on the nose. Again, soft peat, fruity. It's more the fruits like your syrupy fruits, you know, it's really sweet. But there's that slight tinge of the saltiness, that Campbelltown hit to it for me. That could be the grain as well. I do get a slight tinge of a different smell when it comes to grain whisky. But it's nice, and it's one at 40% ABV. You can take a big deep breath and it doesn't burn the hairs off your nose. And talking about hair, you just appreciate for a second, I got a haircut, so I'm quite excited today to finally have a haircut since the start of December. So hopefully we don't get another lockdown, which doesn't put me in that position again, so I like having my haircut. I'll go for another sip on the palate, see how this goes. Yeah. That little nut note, that is very quick on the finish, but there is that tiny peat smoke to it. The really fruity, syrupy notes stay with it, and the saltiness seems to disappear. So salty, slightly peated on the nose, on the palate, nutty, syrupy fruit on the way down. Very short mouthfeel, quite watery mouthfeel, but enjoyable. You know, for the price you're going to pay for this, yes, it was gifted to me. I would have probably went out and bought this anyway, regardless. So I'm quite glad I got it. But Solera style whisky, you know, if you make your own infinity bottle, for instance, is when you keep topping it up and never let it finish. It's going to taste different every single time, but I think they try and keep as much of the recipe as close to possible. So they're getting a consistent product. I like the bottling, I like the labelling on it. Would I like it to be a higher ABV? Yes. Is it a good idea for Adelphi to bring something out of 40%? I would say yes. It maybe brings a new clientele into the realm of single cask whisky, is trying something at 40% ABV and building up to that elusive higher ABVs, the natural stuff, the stuff that the whisky lovers want, especially myself, is the cask strength, even the single cask. This is what comes out of this cask. It's going straight in a bottle. That's what I like. But this has been good. I've enjoyed it. £20, £25, can't complain. Easy sipping whisky. Good job, Adelphi. But I think for me, you know, what I like, the next whisky I'll probably review is going to be something more on the cask strength side. But I'm going to sit back, I'm going to enjoy this. It's my last day. I'm back in work tomorrow. So today is Wednesday for me, and the video goes out on Friday. It's the only time I've been able to find this week to actually get this in. So I'm going to go and enjoy this. But again, thanks for tuning in. I've been Kevin from Kevin Grant on Whisky. Enjoy me next week, and let's talk whisky. Slash. So if you've hung on, you know what's going to happen now. We're going to play a game of Guess the Dram. But first things first, we'll get the last week's winner out the way. There was only one person that got it right last week, so I might have not given too much away. So I'll try and be a little bit better on you this week. Last week's winner was Sam Brewster. He guessed the Deanston Marsala cask finish. So Sam, make sure you reach out to me on Instagram, give me private mail somewhere on one of those platforms, and I'll get your address and I'll get a dram of that sent out to you and something else. But on to this week's one. The rules are, I'm going to smell it, I'm going to try it, and I'm going to give a little description away of where the whiskies may be from and some details, and I'm going to leave it up to you to try and guess what it is. All you then have to do is leave a comment below of what you thought of the Adelphi video itself, and also what you think the whiskey is in front of me. And if you get it right, I'll put you in a draw. If someone has already stole your answer, still put it in. I've got a little wheel of fortune I can put everyone's name on and do it as fair as possible that you have the chance to win it. So let's get into this one. So it's a Speyside, I can give you that. It's natural colour, non-chill filtered, 46% ABV. It's peated. It's 3 cask matured as well. It also is got an age statement to it. It's a double digit age statement as well. So let's smell it on the nose. You get the peach straight away. It's quite, there's a sweet Moscato sugar, I would say. That kind of brown sugar note to it as well. It's sweet. At the end, that peat comes through, the smoke grabs you. There's a sweetness which isn't from, let's say, a bourbon cask or something else there, which is making this sweet in that triple cask maturation. It has two sister distilleries as well, and I think that's where I can just leave it. So Speyside, 46% ABV, natural colour, non-chill filtered, double age statement to it, triple cask matured, and two sister distilleries under the same kind of branding. It's sweet, there's a Moscato sugar to it, there's a peated note there as well, but very sweet on the palate. So I'll leave it there. If you think you know what it is, leave a comment below with your answer, and I will reveal the winner in next week's video. But I'm going to go and sit back, I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of this whiskey here. I am actually really enjoying it today, as I do usually, most of the time this one. And join me next week. Let's talk whiskey. Thanks, folks.